Are you serious? Are you serious? This guy, this Josh Powell, Washington State, this might be one of the most horrific, evil, diabolical stories, situations, events, but it pales in comparison to President Assad of Syria. Just think about that for a moment as I read this article. From Graham, Washington, the state of Washington here in America. Josh Powell painted himself as a tortured man, ridiculed without reason in the disappearance of his wife, steadfastly insisting that he was innocent until the end. Yet the investigation and autopsy reports released late yesterday, which would have been February 6, 2012, showed the acts of a violent man who meticulously planned the double murder-suicide of himself and his two younger sons, culminating Sunday in Powell setting the house ablaze and taking a hatchet to his children's necks. What's wrong? What's wrong with people? How evil? How many demons are loose in the world? As authorities work to determine exactly why Powell committed the murders, investigators said they're no closer to answering the question they had for the last 2 years. We still haven't identified or found where Susan Powell is, said the West Valley, Utah Police Chief Buzz Nelson, who is in charge of the investigation into the young mother's disappearance. For now, even with the longtime person of interest in the probe, the dead, look, police say that these remains and this case is just totally will remain open. Why? Because he's got to get it solved. Where's Susan Powell? Powell's horrific murder-suicide seemed to come out of nowhere. Just days before, in a motion seeking custody of his children filed with the Washington State Court, Powell said he missed his wife and would remain strong for the boys. A lesser person would fall under the intense scrutiny I'm facing, but apparently my inherent resilience as a person makes it increasingly difficult for them to pursue their agendas, Powell wrote. I'm standing tall for my sons, but it deeply hurts to face such ridicule and abuse. I know my own heart is free of any guilt regardless of what people claim, he added. Things changed dramatically when the judge ruled against him, ordering the children to remain with Susan Powell's parents for now. On Sunday, Powell's boys came for their routine supervised visit. They ran ahead, the social worker falling behind. Powell then locked the door, used a hatchet on the kids, and lit the house on fire. What? That's just, I don't even know how to respond to such evil. I don't even know. My mind doesn't comprehend such diabolical acts. Ultimately, Powell and both the boys died of smoke inhalation, according to Pierce County Medical Examiner's Office investigator Melissa Baker said Monday night. But they also suffered chop injuries. This contributed to their deaths. The 7-year-old Charles was struck on his neck, and the 5-year-old Braden had injuries to both his head and neck. Pierce County Sheriff's detectives said that the investigators found a hatchet that they believe was used. I can't read anymore. I can't do no more. I just can't. It's just, folks, this is the kind of thing that just, and then there'll be people who run around saying, I don't believe in evil. I don't believe there's any evil in the world. There's no evil in the world. But here's the thing about it. Assad is ordering the murder of his own citizens. He's ordering snipers into the building to shoot the protesters in the streets. He's ordering the tanks to roll down the streets of Damascus and just start shooting and opening gunfire, machine gun, upon the innocent people. Do you realize that almost 400 children are dead during the 11-month uprising against Assad to remove him from power? These children aren't doing anything wrong. They're victims of the murder and the mayhem and the meanness and massacring that's being done by Assad. And when the United Nations voted overwhelmingly to remove Assad from power, demanded he resign and step down, China and Russia vetoed that ruling, despite 90% of the rest of the nations of the world calling for it, including all of the Arab League nations. So what's really going on here other than Iran? Of course, Iran, I don't think even showed up to vote because they're busy building nukes to blow up Jerusalem. So they can... This is the most crazy ideology I've ever heard of in my life. There's a lot of weird religious beliefs out there from different types of religions. I mean, it's one thing to believe one way or another way. But to actually have in your mind that you must send a nuke or a missile or blow up and kill a big bunch of people. And in the midst of the chaos, that would bring in the Muslim Messiah. That would bring the 12th Imam, the Ali Mahdi, back to bring peace and tranquility to the earth. Well, why would you need to blow up and kill a bunch of people to bring peace to the world? What kind of a mentality is that? What are you doing? You think God... Why not just have peace? Why not just start treating your brother like you want to be treated? Why not follow the golden rule? Oh, I'm sorry. Jesus said those words. But wait a minute. The Quran says they honor the words of Jesus. They recognize him as a, quote, prophet. But then if you honor the words of Jesus, even though you don't believe he's the Son of God, but at least if you think he's something important, and you even mention him in the Quran, then why not obey the words of Jesus? To me, it's just a twisted, deceptive, upside-down lie. The eschatology, the theology of the Shiite Muslims and the Iranian mentality, the world there, their thought process. And I'm not talking about the Sunnis. I'm not even talking about all Shiite Muslims. Just primarily that bunch in Iran. And I'm not talking about all Iranians either, because there's good Christians in Iran. Matter of fact, there's a revival spreading through Iran. The underground church is exploding with salvations. Why? Because they're seeing the truth, and the truth is Jesus Christ. So you got some guy in Washington with a hatchet killing his kids. Who knows what he did to his wife's body? Apparently he probably used a hatchet on her. That seems to be his tool of choice. No one can find her body, and we're never going to find her body because he's dead, unless somewhere we can find where he left the information somewhere that nobody knows about. Or unless somebody else participated with it. I don't know. I got a lot more to go. There's earthquakes in a lot of places today. They're small, but look at this. 4.6 Indonesia, 4.8 Ecuador, 4.3 Mexico, 4.9 Philippines, and the 4.9 the Gulf of Aden. That is earthquakes in diverse places. There's wars, there's rumors of wars, there's a lot of tension right now. And we're just getting the day started. I'm on my first cup of coffee. Just what else waits for us? Bless those little boys. They went on to heaven. Bless those little boys. They went on to heaven. They didn't deserve this. I don't know what to say. Josh Powell. There's nothing else I can say about Josh Powell. God himself will deal with Josh Powell. If you're not saved and you want to become a Christian, you need to understand there's real evil in the world. And so it's best to choose to be on the side of what's right. Christ is love. Christ is mercy. And that's why Jesus died on the cross, to redeem fallen man from the sin, from the murder, from the hate that is overwhelming this world. The Bible says, because iniquity abound, the love of many would wax cold. Cold as ice. Are you saved? You might be a beautiful person and really never done anything wrong. Just have not accepted Jesus. Well, then consider it. I'm going to ask you to do this. Consider becoming a Christian. You can do it by calling upon the name of the Lord. If you need some help in becoming saved and would like to consider being saved, send me a personal message right here on YouTube on my inbox and just title it, bold letters, I want to be saved, I want to be saved, I want to be saved.